I'm Jeff Philbin, this is Dinner DeeAs, and we're cooking keto. An idea for dinner that fits this high-fat, low-carb diet and tastes delicious whatever your goals are. Every day on Dinner DeeAs, we bring you ideas we think you might want for dinner. And if there's ever something that you'd like us to make, let us know. You can email us, dinnerdeas@fox.com, or find us on social media, facebook.com/dinnerdeas. Judy from Spring Hill slid into my DMs to say, I'd love to see more keto-friendly recipes. Well, Judy, hopefully you're going to love the recipe that I've come up with for you. But before we get into it, for anyone who doesn't know, keto, it's short for ketogenic. The idea is to eat high-fat, low-carb meals to get the body to switch from burning glucose from carbs to using fat to produce ketone bodies for energy. So meats are in, but grains like bread, pasta, and rice, those are out. Keto isn't just for weight loss or controlling blood sugar. It's also used to help manage epilepsy in children. And obviously, if you're not already on it, like all diets, don't make a major switch without consulting your doctor. I'm not a doctor. Go to yours and get the expert opinion on that part. Now today, I've come up with an idea for dinner which is delicious, whatever diet you're on, and it's balanced enough to be healthy for everyone, but also fits the principles of keto for folks like Judy. I'm making a keto chicken thighs with creamy spinach, mushrooms, and bacon. And I've already started this dish by getting some bacon lardon inside a nice Dutch oven here. Now all I did here was I just took up bacon, chopped it up into just nice little cubes here, and then just let it cook in a little bit of oil and its own fat. And this is what I want. I want it to be crispy. I want it to change that color that you want from that beautiful bacon. And I also want to be able to keep all of that fat now that is inside the bottom of my pan. I'm going to use it two different ways. I'm going to use it for when I'm searing my chicken, but I'm also going to use it later on for when I'm making a beautiful cauliflower rice. And it's going to bring all of that beautiful smokiness inside that dish. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my bacon out. I'm going to use it again later, and all I've got over here is just on a nice paper towel plate over here for me, so it can absorb some of that fat and keep it nice and crispy. Now look at all of this beautiful fat that is just over here at the bottom of this Dutch oven here. I'm going to reserve some of it. So I've got a little bit of a ladle here, and this is what you want in keto. You want good fats. You want the proteins, you want the fats, you just don't want the carbs. You don't want those sugars to happen. We're gonna hit our pan just a little bit more oil to replace what we just took, because I'm gonna use that bacon fat for later while we think about what our protein is gonna be. Now I'm using chicken thighs over here, bone in, skin on. I want that flavor, and I also want that fat to render off of that skin. Now if you don't want chicken, pork chops would be another great alternative to this dish. I do this one quite often in the house with pork chops, and it's a die-for dish here. But I want to keep those fats, and I want that skin because of that. All I'm going to do here is I'm going to take a paper towel, and I'm just going to make sure that I blot it on both sides here of my chicken. I want to try to get it as dry as I can. To grab the recipe for my keto chicken thighs, go to dinnerdeas.com. There's even a link there to email us if you have a recipe request. Grab your phone, open the camera app, there's nothing special needed, and point at the TV as if you're going to be taking a photo. And when that box down in the bottom left is in frame and in focus, a link to us will pop up. I'm going to just hit it with just a little bit of some salt. A little bit of pepper. Really simple over here. And we're going to get both sides. We're going to repeat that process here. Salt. And pepper. It's perfect. Now I know that my pan is hot here. We put a little bit more oil in to mix in with that bacon fat, which is exactly what I want. And all I want to do next is I want to take skin side down, straight into my pan. Now this is why I'm doing this, to render out that fat. I also want a beautiful presentation. So what I'm looking for on that first side here is a nice golden brown, and for that skin to release from the pan, knowing that I can do that flip. This is gonna take about 6 to 8 minutes, and we've got this at about medium-high heat here. While I get these seared, we're gonna take a quick break. When we come back, how to get carb-free rice into this dish to make it a real meal. Ahead on Dinner DeeAs. Welcome back to Dinner DeeAs. I'm cooking keto friendly today for Judy, who wrote us asking for ideas for dinner that fit a high-fat, low-carb diet. So I've come up with keto chicken thighs with creamy spinach, mushrooms, and bacon. Before the break, I cooked up some diced bacon, then took it out of the pan. Saving some of the fat for later, then prepped our chicken thighs. Patting them dry, seasoning with just salt and pepper, keeping it really simple, and cooking them in the rest of the remaining bacon fat, letting it cook until 8 minutes on one side there. I wanted to make sure it was really nice and brown. And then during the break, I flipped the chicken to the other side. That was about 5-6 minutes there. And we're just cooking the outside here. And then you can see here, beautiful colors. That's what you're looking for. You've got that presentation part to it there. You're also going to have that cook coming in a little bit later. And that's really what's going to finish it in that side, that sauce. Now, we took them out of the pan, so that way then I could get more space to add more ingredients. Now, I've got some mushrooms over here. These are just your basic run-of-the-mill button mushroom sliced, and I don't want to overcrowd the pan. You never want to do that when it comes to mushrooms. It's going to release a lot of moisture, and I want to get a nice color, and I want to make sure that it gets surfaced with the pan. So because of that, you never really want to overload the pan here. This is a perfect amount, but if you wanted to add more to scale up this recipe, you certainly can. I might just do them in batches. So that way then you can get beautiful even color on all sides there. And this is perfect now for me to start adding in some more ingredients. We're gonna start with just a little bit of some shallots. And as you can see, we're really just building a layer of flavor and base here that now just brings everything together. Now, I like the shallots over here because, one, they just have a nice little bit of the hint of onion, but not being too overpowering. Now, if you want to have an onion bite, you certainly can do that. But I'm getting all that essence behind it, and it's just subtle that it's going to just give a little bit of some character behind what's going to become this cream sauce, and it's just perfect within its flavor profile for what I need of this dish. I also am going to use some shallots a little bit later here to go along with the cauliflower rice. Now this is just simple cauliflower rice. You can find this at your frozen aisle here at any grocery store. They made it really easy for you because they've already taken the ricing out of it. Now if you at home want to do that, take a cauliflower, put it into a food processor, get it to your desired rice consistency. But who's got time for that when you could just buy this already? Most of the time they're actually on a BOGO too. So it's just the water and cauliflower. It's simple and it's easy and it's clean. But it needs some flavor. So we reserved that bacon fat from earlier here, and we're gonna add that right back into our pan here. And we're gonna take those shallots that I just used for those mushrooms, and we're gonna add those into our pan here to really bring some life behind our cauliflower. To grab the recipe for these keto chicken thighs, go to our website, dinnerdeas.com, where we have it ready to print, or just follow along on your phone while you watch. I'm gonna cook these shallots over here in one pan. Well, then I add in my garlic to our mushrooms here. I don't want to do this at the same time because if I did that, I'm going to overcook it. And no one wants bad garlic over here. Now, this right here is absolutely fantastic. All of what you're seeing over here, this frond, can be lifted up in just a little bit because we're going to add some liquid behind it. But first, I'm going to add just a little bit of some fresh thyme. Give that nice stir. I want to make sure that I coat my mushrooms with that shallot and that garlic. And the smells now are absolutely fantastic. You're going to get that earthiness from the mushrooms, that fresh lemony kind of essence that's coming from that thyme. And of course, the garlic and shallots are out of this world fantastic. Now, we were just talking a little bit about that frond. I'm going to add just a little bit of some liquid behind our pan here. Now, this is just a little bit of some chicken stock. And this is going to help lift up the bottom of my pan. You can see me right now. Look at that. All I'm just doing is bringing all that flavor back up into this dish. Now, if you want to use white wine, absolutely you could do that. Deglazing the pan that way, you certainly can. But, you know, we're kind of on a health kick over here, so I kind of want to keep the booze out, but still bring in some great flavor. And this chicken broth just did the trick for me on that regard. I'm also going to add in a little bit of some heavy cream. And to help make it a little bit creamier and a little cheesy, we're going to add some Parmesan cheese. Really simple, really, really simple. And I just want to stir that cheese in so that way then it can really melt together evenly and not just really stick to the bottom here. So I really want to hit it first so I can start really whisking that in. And so it slowly starts melting away. Okay, we've got our shallots over here, nicely browned, for us to add in our cauliflower rice. And again, this was 2 bags over here, a BOGO. You can't go wrong with that. We're just going to add that to our pan here. We're going to hit it with just a little bit of some salt and some pepper. I'm just going to stir in my ingredients. Really, really simple and super, super clean and healthy and fits the idea for this incredible keto-friendly dish over here. We're going to take another quick break. When we come back, we get even more veggies in and making it a healthy meal for any diet ahead on Dinner DeeAs. Welcome back to Dinner DeeAs. We're making a diet dinner idea today, but maybe not what you'd expect. Judy wrote us asking for more keto-friendly dishes, so that's what I'm making. My keto chicken thighs with creamy spinach, mushrooms, and bacon. It fits the high-fat, low-carb rules for keto, but I've made it balanced enough for anyone to eat. Before the break, I added shallots to the mushrooms for the chicken sauce, then heated the reserved bacon fat to cook more shallots to bring flavor to some cauliflower rice. Then added garlic and thyme to the chicken sauce, along with chicken broth, Parmesan cheese, and heavy cream. Adding garlic to the base for the cauliflower rice, then adding the frozen cauliflower, and just a little bit of some salt and pepper, and it's looking and tasting really, really good. I tasted it before off there on the sauce, and I loved it, but I want to just taste where we're at with this cauliflower rice. You know, cauliflower rice is really deceiving because it has the texture of rice that you're expecting, but you're getting the added bonus of like, whoa, I'm eating something healthy. I'm not eating a grain, and so I'm not getting the carbohydrates, so it's fitting into that keto. This right here is a sneaky, sneaky addition, and it's really, really inexpensive and a lot of fun to eat. You can surprise a lot of people thinking like you're eating a really good rice. And because we had the bacon fat, because we had the shallots, because we got the garlic, we're going to hit it with some lemon, we're going to hit it with some parsley later on. It's going to take that to the next level. But right now, that is a fantastic, fantastic base, just as much as this sauce over here is just coming alive so, so nice. Now, what I like about this sauce over here is that you have a creaminess behind it, a nice subtlety of smokiness behind it because of that layer of bacon fat. Then you had the chicken that was rendered out. The mushrooms bring a nice earthiness behind it. It's absolutely fantastic. But because we're eating healthy and because we want to kind of do something a little different over here, we're going to add a little bit of some spinach. Now I'm just taking spinach straight out of the bag that's been washed, and I'm going to throw it right into this cream sauce. The liquid that's inside my cream sauce will help wilt this down. It's going to take about a couple minutes over here. But this right here really changes the complexity of this dish. It's another sneaky addition of a vegetable. So you're eating healthy, you're eating keto, and you're feeling good about it too. Sometimes when I'm at the house and I make this dish, because I've done this a lot, actually using some pork chops too, this is a perfect time if you want to throw in another ingredient, sun-dried tomatoes. Jam-packed with just this beautiful umami flavor behind it. and that's another great addition you can always add in. This spinach has wilted down so nicely. This is absolutely fantastic. Now, this is optional over here. Now, I like things a little bit spicy, so I'm just gonna give a little pinch of some crushed red pepper flakes inside. If you at home don't wanna do that, you don't need to, but I like just that little bit of hint right there of some crushed red pepper flakes. We're gonna just stir that in. I'm also gonna take back our bacon over here and throw this bacon in. I'll save a couple for the presentation, just to give it a nice little crispy crust and crunch there. But we're gonna bring this back inside our sauce. To grab the recipe for my keto-friendly idea for dinner, just go to our website, dinnerdeas.com, scan the QR code in the corner of the screen to find us. Now this is absolutely fantastic and perfect for me to begin to bring back our chicken. Now, we cooked it skin side down first because that was going to be where I wanted to make sure I locked in those flavors, that presentation side. And I then had the flip to cook it from the other side, but I didn't cook it all the way through. Right here is where I'm gonna just bring it back in to our nice, beautiful sauce. I'm just gonna nestle it in there. Make sure I get almost all the way through, but not completely through to the top there. We're gonna drop our heat down. I've already got it down to now about a low here. We're just gonna put that lid on. I'm just gonna let that really simmer away for about 10, 15 minutes or so. It depends on how much you had on that other side of that cook to really get to it. Now, if you have a recipe request like Judy did for this keto diet dinner, email us at dinnerdeas@fox.com. That's also where we love to get your photos of any dinners that you've made from the show. Dan and Marilyn wrote us. They're watching in Palm Harbor. Hi, you two. They made the mushroom bolognese, another great healthy option right there. And this was shared by Max Blowers from Good Intentions. They told us they also made the vegan ricotta. Dan said, use the pasta I had on hand and a homemade vegan Parmesan turned out deliciously. You two, right there, that right there is heaven in a bowl, my friends. All right, let's finish up this rice over here. I've got a nice lemon. There's so much happening over here. There's a lot of fat, there's a lot of richness. We need a little acid. We need a little acid to break that down. So what I want to just do is I just want to take a nice lemon here over here. I'm going to get some of the lemon zest first. I always love to get all of those essentials oils out of the lemon. It just gives it a nice little bit of a burst of flavor and also speckles it really nicely, and it's just clean. And this is really where you're going to get that nice intensity of flavor behind it, which is really nice. I'm going to slice this in half, and now I'm going to hit it with some lemon juice. This is going to help brighten this dish up so nicely. And that's just one lemon juice and, of course, the zest. We're going to hit it with some parsley as well. And we're going to save some for the plating for later, along with that bacon that I had from earlier. And we're just going to give this a nice little bit of a stir. We're just going to mix in our parsley, lemon juice, and that lemon zest over here. And it smells absolutely fantastic. It really does have the look, the texture, and the taste of real rice, but without the carbs. Our keto cuisine is almost done. When we come back, how to finish it all up ahead from Dinner Diaz. Welcome back to Dinner Diaz, where today's idea is keto-friendly by request from Judy, who wrote us in Spring Hill. But you don't need to know anything about that diet to enjoy this dish. It's a balanced meal that anyone can enjoy. It's my keto chicken thighs with creamy spinach, mushrooms, and bacon. Before the break, I added spinach to the sauce for the chicken, let that wilt, and season with a little salt, pepper, and a few crushed red pepper flakes. Now, if you don't want the heat, you can just leave them out. You don't need them in there if you don't want them. Then got the bacon I cooked earlier back in, along with the chicken itself, skin side up this time, and let it simmer to cook through. And in the pan with the cauliflower rice, I added a little lemon zest, juice, and some parsley, and this was going to brighten that part of the whole dish up. So that way then it's got a nice base and foundation for this beautiful chicken to sit on top. Now let's make sure that we've cooked it to that desired temperature of 165 over here. And we are right there, boom. And we are right there, boom. Let's start plating this dish up. All right, we're gonna take our cauliflower over here. And we're gonna just bring this right to our center of our plate. Now this cauliflower rice, again, it's super deceiving, so it's got great versatility. If you wanted to use this for another dish, like a beautiful stir fry, you're just jam-packing even more vegetables inside it. You certainly can do just that. It's a really great alternative to having the carb. Sometimes you just need to kind of check the gut sometimes. Okay, we're gonna just kind of move the chicken to the side for just a second here, so that way I can get a nice ladle of some of that bacon and the spinach and the mushrooms to sit right on top of it. I wanna sneak in a little bit of some flavor before I kind of hit it with just that chicken to come on top with everything. We're gonna take a nice chicken thigh. I'm gonna get another one over here. Just like so. Let's hit it with just some of that sauce. Oh yeah, look at that. Look at how that just kind of comes right through. And this is one where you can just kind of pour right on top, right around. However you want to be able to plate this part, you go right ahead, have some fun. But what I would do is make sure that you do reserve some of that bacon from earlier, so that way then you can bring that right on top like so. Gives it a nice little bit of crunch, and that's really going to get that smokiness to really hit you. Really, really nice. A little bit of some more fresh parsley right on top there. Give it a nice little bit of color, brightness, and that earthiness, which is what you want. Judy, I hope this idea for dinner works for your diet. Find the recipe at our website, dinnerdeas.com. And if you make it, Judy, or anyone, I want to see it. Send us a photo. I'm Jeff Philbin. Thanks for watching, and see you next time with more ideas for dinner, or as we call them, Dinner Dias.